Thank you. Thank you for having me. Cool. Can't hear. Oh, you've been doing most of the talking and they can't hear you. Did you forget to unmute your microphone?
Can you hear me now? I think so. Oh, hold on, let me just check the stream.
Mm-hmm. I do the same.
Yeah, okay. Wait, is it working?
Are we on the internet?
Is this even real?
Okay, now I hear you on the stream, on Twitch
Okay.
at
Oh
least.
yeah, I muted my stream, that's fine. Okay, cool. So, sorry, yeah, I've been talking for 5 minutes and...
So let's start again.
No one's heard anything, right. So, great. What was I going to say? Yeah, what was I saying? Yes, welcome everyone. Sorry, we're experiencing a few difficulties, and yeah, we'll see how it works. It should be all right. When we showcase a few things, you won't see my face, I don't think, but that should be okay. I'm sure all of you will survive. You'll see the screen that needs to be seen, and you'll see Jay's face, so he can narrate everything to you. But yeah, other than that, I think we're ready to roll now. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome Jay. It's a pleasure to have you over. It's less funny the second time I make that joke, but
well, it's still a pleasure to be here.
Yes, well, I'm glad. So yeah, so basically this time around, we're probably gonna kind of give you guys an overview of 2020 and like a few hopes and dreams that we have for 2021. There weren't many specific questions for the stream, so. All the questions related to 2020, 2021, so we figured it'd be a good opportunity to sit down and have a bit of a chat. So yeah, I also encourage anyone watching us to actively ask questions. Ask questions, we'll do our best to answer, and we'll go from there. We're probably going to throw a decent amount of numbers at you as well, so get a notepad. No, I'm joking, but yeah. Great.
Some of the numbers we'll be disclosing we have revealed in the 3.5-year review, which came out in November of last year.
Yeah, for all the mega fanboys, you shouldn't be too surprised by what you're going to see in the next half hour, 45 minutes. And for the others, well, welcome. So yeah, maybe we start with 2020, of course. Slight overview of the year, and like a few highlights, a few things we're particularly happy about, and we'll sort of start a topic and discuss it a bit, and then you guys can sorry, I read the question and lost my train of thought. We'll start a topic and then talk about it for a bit. So the first topic we sort of put up was the growth in the monthly users. In January of 2020, we were averaging about 5,000 users a month, and a year later we're at about 20,000. So yeah, it's been kind of nice. It's been kind of nice. I mean, if we think about what we did concerning that over the year, we did change our servers. I think that was one of the things that enabled us to be able to hit these numbers without, everyone crying and everyone having to wait 20 minutes for things to load. There was, like, if we're talking about the way the year evolved number-wise, we definitely see, so January starts pretty low, and then around February, I started our ads campaign, and then you see sort of a an uptick in the amount of users, and it does go up quite substantially. I think Corona also helped, gave us a bit of a boost. People were staying indoors at the time. No one really knew how serious or not it was, and so, I think people were kind of enjoying the work from home. And then you definitely see a bit of a dip over summer when, people started enjoying the fact that it was summer, they could go outside and everything. And then, things have perked up again lately. That's quite nice to see, nice to hear. So yeah, it's just like quite substantial growth in the number of monthly users over a course of a year, which is quite nice. Which brings us also to the fact that the number of accounts that have been created has increased quite substantially. And I'll let Jay talk about the accounts, or if you've got any thoughts about numbers of monthly users as well.
Yeah, it's nice to see the number of monthly users has increased, and also in the last 3.5-year review, 3-year review, sorry, we noted that users who come back have also increased.
That's true.
So, so the number of total accounts hasn't quadrupled, but it's more than doubled. It went from roughly 20,000 at the beginning of January 2020, and now we're just about to hit 60,000 in next week.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, it's been quite crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, tripled, which is nice. It's a lot of dead accounts, about 200 bot accounts, as we discovered the other day when suddenly we had a day with just lots and lots of accounts created, and I knew something was up because we didn't have an uptick in Discord or whatever, and it was bots creating accounts, trying with names which send you to Bitcoin or websites.
Yeah,
so that was fun.
My investment strategy was all laid out after that bot attack.
That's about all I have to say on the number of accounts. It's great to see accounts grow, but it's greater to see people coming back after they've tested Kanka for a day or two, that they stay on the platform. And of course, you always have, especially since it's big software, it's complicated software, it's mostly free software. We have lots of people trying it out and then figuring out, this is for me or this is not for me. But it's great that people come back.
Sorry, I'm just reading Karen Ampos's question, which is, growth has been rapid. How one-to-one relation to starting the ad campaign would you say it was? Well, welcome, James Firth. Welcome. So to answer your question, Karen Ampos, it's definitely responsible for a decent chunk of the growth. I think there are different, so ads is actually something I wanted to talk about a bit. We're going to sort of approach that a bit later. But I would say that we definitely see sort of a correlation between the marketing budget and the number of accounts created every month. I don't know that I can necessarily speak for the growth in recurring users when it comes to the marketing spend, but it's definitely, there is a direct correlation between how much we spend and how many accounts are created every month. Which is nice. It's I mean, ads are essentially a large chunk of my work. So it's something I've tried to refine over the year, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better. I was actually doing a massive presentation to Jay the other day about everything that's worked and not worked, and like how the past 6 months have been on my end for that sort of stuff. And it's definitely a heavy contribution. If we're thinking brute numbers, I don't remember how many accounts were created before, but I think we're talking roughly about somewhere between sort of 30 and 40% of accounts created are down to marketing, roughly speaking. I think that's a good ballpark figure. So yeah. Good ballpark figure is 30 to 40%. Keeping in mind also the marketing budget has tended to increase as the size of Kanka has grown. So it's a fairly fixed 30 to 40% because there's always a large amount of word of mouth, and with marketing increasing and it stays stable in that sort of zone. So that's there's quite a strong correlation between ad campaigns and growth. Though I'd say probably about 30 to 40% of the growth is down to that. We actually have another question. Do you have information about the numbers of people that create campaigns and the accounts that are only part of a campaign? So, so yes, there are two stats that we have, which is number of accounts and campaigns created. And Jay will know these numbers more than I will.
Yeah, off the top of my head, about 60,000 accounts and 47,000 campaigns. So on average, a member is part of 1.2 campaigns. I can't math off the top of my head.
Well, it means 13,000 people who are just players and not have not created campaigns, presumably.
Yeah, also several people who are, well, because you also have cases where a DM will have several campaigns and none of their players on Kanka.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I would have to look it up.
Yeah. But roughly what? So maybe about a quarter from the numbers you're giving me. Maybe about a quarter of our users are purely players, and about 3/4 seem to be GMs. If I was to guess, does that seem about right to you? I can hear the typing, so he's checking.
Sorry, no, I was going to answer a question on the Discord. What was the question? Sorry.
No, is it fair to say that about 3/4 of our users are sort of GMs, DMs, and have their own campaigns? About quarter are just players. Would that seem fair?
That seems.
Oh.
Maybe. I'm just thinking of my use case. All my friends who are in my campaigns are on Camco, and several of them are also DMs, so they have their own campaigns where they are players, where they're DMs. So.
Okay.
It's difficult to tell unless we actually did a survey, which would be difficult to get out because most DMs log in just more frequently.
That's true.
I guess one day we could have a profile page of users where they can set up if they're DMs or players. I could get out the stats. I could get out every user and what campaigns they are, and in any of the campaigns they're in the admin role or not. Yeah.
We can bring these out, stubs, if you're very interested. But yeah, the vast majority are still GMs. I saw the question from Caroline Poss on the sort of platform-defining feature we'll focus on for as a priority, and I think that's something we'll discuss when it comes to 2021. If you don't mind, we'll just sort of do 2020 first, and then move on to 2021. I say that as if we have a lot more to say. Yeah. The other big thing actually over 2020 for both of us was going full time.
Yeah.
Jay started in June, and I started a couple of months earlier. But yeah, that was big for both of us, I think. Part of me still can't fully believe it.
Yeah, it's so crazy. Well, also because we're still paid way below minimum wage for Swiss standards.
Yeah. I mean, doing what you love has no price,
Yeah.
So yeah, that was another sort of defining feature of 2020, I would say, going full time. What else can we say about 2020? Well, yeah, there was another milestone, which was the creation of Alchester SNC, which is the shorthand for Société Non Collective, which is the structure that we have. So yeah, Alchester SNC is an official company that owns Kanka, and of which both Jay and I are 50-50 partners. So that was another big turning point, I think, in our little journey in 2020. Before that, we were just two dudes sort of working out of my living room. You can still see Jay's work computer in the back there. And after that, well, we were still two dudes just working in my living room, but with a company.
Yeah, well, we now have accident insurance.
We do.
Because of our company.
Yeah. Other than that, what else did we write down? We wrote down also like the fact that English has become less important within the realm of Kanka. There have been quite a few other languages that have been put in place, and yeah, I think we both think that's quite a positive thing. We've always been quite keen to reach a large audience. We both knew and felt that other languages were underserved as communities. So that's been a nice evolution. Jay, if
yeah, it's also been fun working with translators and helping them figure out what I mean with some terms. Like a big thing in many, especially in Slavic languages, seems to be the word entity, which isn't always easy to translate. I think in Croatian they went with object, because that's the closest thing which in that language comes to, I might be remembering this wrong, but that's the closest thing which came to describing an entity. It's also been nice having translators fix my terrible English spelling. Especially Blaze, the Croatian translator, has picked up quite a few typos, weird sentence structures, that kind of thing. So that's been great, just working with more people.
Yeah, a lot of people have offered their help when it comes to translations. I've been very impressed. Like, how many languages do we have currently?
I think the Russian translator Tribit also did the same with in Russian for object. Languages we have, I think we're 10, 11 which are published, and there's 6, 7 which are in the works. Since these are all people who come and help out the goodness of the heart and on their free time, some languages go faster, some go slower.
Of course. We're always very thankful for all our translators. I mean, of course, Jay and I speak French and English, and Jay's German's pretty decent. But beyond that, we'd be very, very lost without you guys, I have to say. So thank you to all of you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. One thing I do want to note, 2 things. Helping adapting the interface for Hebrew, which is all right to left, was an interesting challenge to make Kanka work in just flipping all the interfaces. And I'm still not sure that the text editor fully is compatible with that. Okay. I'm not sure. So that's been a bit of a headache. And yeah, if people want to help translate Kanka in their language, just hit us up on the Discord, and we'll set you up and add you to the translation team. And yeah, so no previous requirement in translating is required. I was asked that question when someone wants to join, just because I'm curious, because sometimes we get people who have previous work, and it's just cool. But yeah, I'm also not an English translator, and I write Kanka in English, so
well,
you don't need to speak a language to translate it. Wait, no, that sounds wrong. You don't need to be good.
Well, I will say, like, I usually correct. I mean, when Jay writes a release, I usually read over it, and his English has improved substantially. Like, I remember a year ago when I started rereading, I was like, oh god. But that's I read it, I barely have anything to change. If any, like most of the time, I just whatever, all good. So yeah.
One day I'll activate spell checking in my browser, but today is not.
You mean it's not activated? I just assumed you had it in French or something. Like I
have it in French, German, and English, so it gets confused.
Discord does that for me. Especially when I write sentences, like I start typing to you in French and then I finish the sentence in English. Discord has no idea what's going on. That's always quite funny. Yeah, so anyway, moving on. Yes, Karalampos, we're still waiting for the Greek. I see you.
Wait, didn't we publish that?
Did we not? I don't know. Every time you tell me it's done and it isn't. So I'm not getting into this anymore. I'm sure I will be proven wrong yet again.
Oh, you are correct.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, never mind. Another thing I want to talk about is a big thing of 2020 was the ecosystem, where we released the blog, which allows us to handle all our announcements. And that's also a move where we moved away from Patreon as our main source of communicating, where we moved to our own system for payments and for just announcements using the blog, also the newsletter. Do we have stats on the newsletter? I haven't asked you that in 6 months. But
no, I mean, I can probably bring them up if I have to. It tends to be roughly around the same. You get a few new subs every now and then. I have to admit, I haven't sent out a monthly newsletter for December. I'm just thinking about it now, actually. So, whoops. You'll get one at the end of January, everyone. But I may have forgotten the December one. It goes up. I think we're probably at about 300-400 people. No, maybe 300 at this point who receive the newsletter. It also depends on which one. Not the same amount of people are subscribed for the same newsletter. I think the release one is the most popular one. And what I can reveal is usually about 50 to 55% of people who receive the newsletter actually open it. So that's a fun little stat for you. But so
we've built tools to better communicate with the community. So tried being more active in Discord, adding more channels. Also, a big thing of 2020 towards the end was the marketplace, where boosted campaigns can install plugins at the moment, themes, and attribute templates from other users. And hopefully, in the first half of 2021, content packs, where I've been stuck figuring out how to rebuild Kanka in the marketplace to create entities, which is in a way which is practical for users. Because I could do it very janky and just say people insert JSON, write JSON for your content packs, but that isn't very user friendly.
No, it wouldn't get my green light. I wouldn't be able to use that. That's the level of green lighting that I give. But yeah, marketplace has been something that you and I have both been excited about for a while, and content packs are definitely going to be something I look forward to, which will actually tie in. I think marketplace will tie into 2021 as well. It's going back actually to one thing at a time. Sorry, there's just a question about translated languages and how often they're used. I will not do you the disservice of pronouncing your name because I'm not going to be able to. But basically, I don't remember the most recent stats. I've not seen the stats for a couple months now. But from memory, French, German, and Brazilian Portuguese are the most used, if I'm not mistaken, Jay.
After English, yeah.
Yeah,
and Spanish.
Spanish is up there, yeah, it's also up there. But I don't remember, it's been a few months anyway since I saw the stats. But there's a substantial, usage of French, German, Brazilian, Portuguese, and Spanish. And other languages, more or less uses depending on the language, but we're still talking, they tend to be minor usage as opposed to those which are very much sort of front and center. English, of course, remains the most used. I think it would be crazy if it wasn't the case, but it's not as dominant, let's just say.
Try looking at the database, but I remembered I stopped saving that value in the database, and now we just have it in Google Analytics.
Oh, okay. I can have a look.
I believe so. Because it's saying 96% are English, which is wrong.
Yeah, no, that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Old world versus new world. The US is about a third. The US started off last year.
Around 50%?
Yeah, so 45 to 50%. If you lump in Canada, you're getting to about 50%. Europe has stabilized and has actually grown proportionally. I would say Europe represents probably another 30 to 35%. And then the rest is pretty random. We have a massive community in Brazil. I think that was, for me personally, that was one of my biggest surprises. It's just, I think it's our second largest amount of users are in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. If I have a look, hold on one second.
Yeah, it hovers between fifth and second.
Yeah, if I look over the last few months, it's our third over the last 3 months. Like with the US, of course, being number one at about 30% over the last few months. But yeah, we're quite popular in Brazil. Then we've got some decent communities in Argentina as well. If we're talking non-Europe here, we're decently popular in Argentina, which is to me a bit of a surprise. In a positive way. It's nice to know that people are excited about Kanka all over the world, but it wasn't something I'd necessarily anticipated or expected. And hold on, let me just bring out a few more numbers. My browser's not being very friendly. Yeah, definitely Stabs. Like, I 100% guilty of that. I underestimated how many people living in Brazil were interested in D&D and world building or were geeks. But like, it's a huge community. It's been quite impressive. Yeah. Otherwise, Australia. I mean, the Anglo-Saxon countries tend to do quite well. So Australia is also in the top 10, and then you've got other countries like I don't know, Poland's doing well-ish. Turkey's not too bad. Yeah, as I say, Argentina, Philippines. Philippines is surprisingly high as a country. We've got users in a bunch of places, but I'd say the standouts are EU, US, Canada, and Brazil. Those three regions probably represent 85% of our users, I think. So yeah. Sorry, I got carried away. As soon as we're talking
statistics,
numbers. I get really excited. Like it's just I can't help myself. Okay, so Jacob, German letter as if spoken English. I hope that's right, Jacob, because like a J is a Y in German, right? Anyway, he'll tell me if I'm wrong. So yeah, moving on. Hoping I haven't forgotten anything. So if we think a bit about 2021 and like what we hope to accomplish, like the big lines, what's the first thing that jumps out at you, Jay?
All of it.
All of it. That's a great answer.
Now, probably the second thing in our list, keep that for the end to showcase.
Sure, sounds good.
Because as it'll be lots of clicking. One thing we really hope to finish in 2021 is Project Freya, which is, I see you misspelled it in our documents. Project Freya, which what we started late summer with redesigning the sidebar with Anton Glatonik, a Russian designer, helping us just refresh the whole interface of Camco and make it more accessible. And many roadblocks were hit in the second half of 2020, but we got the sidebar out, which was first one of the important parts.
Yeah.
And we hope to continue and have Project Freya done in 2021. And that includes the view of seeing when you're looking at an entity, when you're looking at lists of entities, those are the two big ones. And lastly, probably the dashboard. I am happy with the dashboard how it is now, especially with all the customization and especially with people boosted campaigns doing absolutely crazy and inspiring stuff. So that's why it will be last, because that's what will break for most people is if we touch the dashboards. There's the entity view, make just the information more concise, group things better, to no longer have 20 million sub menus and 8 clicks to be able to add something to an entity. Just make it better and sexy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing ultimately. Yeah, hopefully this is the year. We had initially our plan, like our master plan, which is always a rough guesstimate of our best hopes. We had wanted to have it done by the autumn, but life, not much you can do about that.
Yeah.
There is
Tied
also.
to that.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Go for it.
Tied to that, so at the beginning of 2020, when Jon joined, we did the landing page and the whole
Yep.
front-facing pages. When someone comes to Kanka the first time, explaining what it is, we also hope to redo that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. So you beat me to it.
In the first, redo that whole page in the first half of 2021, and that means again improving the text, improving where the information is found. We have stats on where people go, where people click through Google Analytics, and just using that data to better explain to people landing on Kanka for the first time what it is and what it does.
Yeah.
Improving. One thing which I hope to be more technical is improve again Google ranking, and there's several ways we can do that. And part of it is how the page is structured, how many resources the page uses. Because when I started Kanka, I went free theme on Google and took the first one which I liked. So that's means it's not optimized for good Google search rankings.
No, well, I mean, like that being said, you and I, but that's the point, really. Like when a year ago when we started and we started having the initial conversations, and redoing the landing page was one of our first things that we wanted to do, one of our first objectives, and I think
You've cut off for me. I think your headphone decided to die.
Yeah, no, sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, my headset is a bit temperamental today. We are not having any luck with technology today. I apologize. But the landing page was one of the first things we redid back in the day, and like I think over the course of a year for SEO purposes, we've really kind of optimized. We've done everything we can to patch it and make it as well, first of all, as enjoyable as possible for our users, and secondly, like as optimized as possible for Google. And I think, the reason we are going to be redoing the landing page is because we've kind of reached the end of that optimization process, where we have now done pretty much what we can do with what we currently have in place, and therefore we need to just like start from scratch. It's I don't think we can improve that any further without just starting again. So that's something that we're hoping to do this first half of the year as well. Just make it a bit even better, more friendlier, and like it won't impact most users much, because most users, if you're auto logged in, like you go straight into Kanka and you don't really see the landing page. But speaking of growth and speaking of continuing growth, that is, I think, something that will help us.
Yeah.
There is also something that we did, and I know this is close to Jay's heart, and we're going to try and do a bit more of, is events. So I'll let Jay say what he's thinking about these events.
We introduced
like that.
In case your microphone decides to die again.
Exactly.
I love the idea of community events where we had 2 last year. The first one was the cooking one, and one was the one. Then we have 3. One was around death, and one was around stories of Halloween.
Yes, there was Halloween. Yes.
Yeah. So where we give you a prompt or a theme, and people create an entity, be it a character, an organization, an event, something in the Kanka world, and then share it, and then we can showcase the cool things or the inspiring things that people can then get inspired for in their own campaigns. And I hope to do more of those this year.
Yeah.
Something close. I would love to have it like once a month, just have an event where people can participate and be creative and just share cool ideas I can then steal for my own D&D campaigns. So I have less work to do. That'd be great. But jokes aside, just engaging the community more.
Yeah, it's like I think at the end of the year we did discuss Jay and I having like a year-end event, but we noticed that with Christmas and New Year, a lot of people had put aside games temporarily. Just spending time with family, and I guess a lot of people were worried with the whole COVID situation. So we chose not to. It didn't feel like the right time. We keep an eye. We're talking about active users, and we definitely saw like a holiday dip, as it were. And I didn't feel like it was necessarily the right time. We also, like, our past events have also been a bit hit and miss sometimes. So I think that's something where we're definitely going to try and build and improve, and we'll definitely be asking for regular feedback from you guys. Yeah, yeah. Nothing more to add there for me.
Yeah.
But sort of touching on that theme of engaging the community, there is something else that we are hoping to be able to do is either more live streams like this one, or like spending more time just in the voice channels on Discord, because like we've realized we have them, they're always empty, and ultimately both Jay and I spend a good chunk of our days in front of the computer working. So it can totally be done where we just kind of hang out and make ourselves a bit more available and differently available to you guys. I think is kind of what we're thinking.
Yeah. One thing, often when someone asks for help on Discord and I can't figure it out through text, I'll invite that person to have a voice call. And that's something we can then expand to not only for help, but yeah, for brainstorming for features or talking about Kanka or world building or whatever.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
That sounds good.
Making Kanka community more fun.
Yeah, more engaging. Just
yeah.
It's. I read a comment, I think, in a video or like just in the Discord. I can't remember now, about Kanka saying that I think it was Carol Ampars who's saying that he fully expects Kanka to be like a social network in a few years. And like, I don't know that that's necessarily the direction we're going, but we would like the community to have. We're built around the community, and we want the community to have the best possible time, and including interactions amongst yourselves, because ultimately, like, we're just two people, So yeah, just sort of enabling that a bit more, perhaps. We've also had a few conversations about merchandising. We've had these conversations with you guys as well. We still don't really know where we're going with that. It's definitely something we want to do, but I think it's about doing it at a time which makes sense for us, which makes sense for you, and where you guys actually want this, and it's not just why not? So that's definitely something we'll think about more as well. And as the user base grows, of course, the potential people who'd be interested grows as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I think merchandise is something where we need a critical mass of users in the community who are ready to buy. Well, first to create cool merch and people to buy it, to make it worthwhile. Because if we're spending hundreds of hours with designers, with graphic designers, with companies creating these like fulfillment centers, creating these products, and then we sell free mugs a month, that's just financially, we'd rather spend our time improving Kanka.
Yeah, exactly.
As much as I'd love having Kanka hoodies, stickers I can stick around the world as I'm going around, or on my laptop and stuff, it's just, financially it doesn't make... My time is better spent at the moment building features for Kanka or fixing bugs or whatever than shiny hoodies.
Exactly. And I can't design to save my life. So.
Oh, me neither. That's why I had to Google free landing design on Google Kanka.
That's true. I don't know if there's anything else we wanted to mention. Like, I think we just wanted to preview a few things now.
What is the first thing of the list?
Oh, you want to talk about that separately? I thought we were going to talk about it with everyone. Yeah, so we've had a few requests from some users who wanted, who were interested in a new tier of payment that would be between the Owlbear and the Elemental, with especially with the arrival of Super Boosts, who might want Super Boost 2 campaigns and stuff. And I think we can announce that we're going to be putting that in place. So we'll be creating a new tier at 10 subs. It'll have a few differentiating factors from owlbears. We're still hashing out the final details. There's some intense negotiation going on between Jay and I. But I think the bottom line is more boosts and slightly higher upload limits, I think is what we're looking at right now. So
higher upload limits and like be able to super boost 2 campaigns.
Basically, yeah. 6 sort of 6 normal boosts or 2 super boosts. And I think we're looking at about 15 megs for the upload size. So we'd have like the 10-ish for owlbears, 15 for this new tier, which we actually have yet to name. And we'd probably stick to the current limits for elementals, which is 25 from the top of my head. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's something that we'll probably be doing soon. I'm sure some people are excited about it. I'm sure most of you don't really care, but that's okay. And so yeah, so now I think we wanted to showcase a couple things and a few changes that Jay has been working on. So I will switch to the focus, and you will not see my face anymore for a bit because, the update messed with our layout. So there we go. Right, let's do this. Boom.
I'm now focused.
You are now. We can now see
my browser.
Yes.
Okay. So tomorrow or on Tuesday, we'll be releasing the next update of Kanka. We had no roadmap for this month. As we mentioned, we're focusing on fixing some bugs, cleaning up some of the code, and also working on some features which were part of community votes during the last year but didn't make it in the app. And tying to that, we had a question last month in the live stream: when do we see Kanka version 1? And we talked about it during the live stream, talked about it between ourselves. And so tomorrow's update will officially be Kanka v1. And for that, we've included a few big features. The first one is everyone will now have the new text editor, which we've been trialing since the summer. So if I go and edit a character here, it's now the new one called Summer Note. And this was optional since the summer, or experimental as we were trying it out. The biggest change for this is the performance are better, and it also mentions work on mobile, which was a big drawback of the previous editor. And in this, text editor, we have the campaign galleries for super boosted campaigns, which is integrated and which will be improved on in upcoming releases. We'll probably be adding folders. And that's the first thing. So if users don't like the new editor, there's still the option going to your profile and layout page. You can still switch to the legacy, which is now the old one, TinyMC4, which has a small text. Using the legacy text editor will not support mentions on mobile devices and not have support for some features like the campaign gallery. So that's still possible. Everyone in release in Camco v1 will automatically switch to Summer Notes, and people who prefer the old one can still switch manually. That's the first big change. The second one, let me check my blog posts for tomorrow. What did I write? Boosted campaigns will now have entity links on entities. So if I go on a character, abilities person, you'll notice below the name and the title up here in the header, this is for boosted campaigns, but it's the same. I'll show it for non-boosted campaigns in a second. There's now a link to D&D Beyond and a link to Kanka. And the way they can be managed is in the Actions menu. There's Manage Links, where you can add links to a new website. So I could do YouTube, HTTPS, youtube.com/Kanka.io. I don't know the syntax. And you can use a custom icon from Font Awesome the same way you can for map markers and timelines. So I'll just put the D&D Beyond one again. Select the position and select the visibility. So I have this new link. If I go, exactly. So on this character, on the submenus, it doesn't show the entity header, so it shows it here, the links. So you have the 3 links, and when you click on one, it goes to a special Kanka page saying you're about to leave Kanka to go for another domain. And with button go to the link, and underneath which link you're going to. So that's one thing we are introducing. If I go back on the entry page, you can now see it on a boosted entity here.
Sexy.
Yeah, well, it will be sexier once we have Freya
That's true.
taken care of, because now it's functional, but I'm sure we'll find a better way to represent this information. Next big update is for entity nodes, where we have a new option where you can now pin your entity nodes. So this entity node here is pinned, and you can control the position. And what that means is on the main page of this entity, if I scroll down, I have my various entity nodes who are pinned here, where I can then toggle them to be closed. They default open. We might add an option later on, so default and closed. And with the 2 buttons to either delete it, or go and edit it. Those are the 3 big changes for Kanka v1. We thought that the new text editor, entity links, and pinned entity nodes would make many people happy, hopefully. Let me just check the chat if there's anything related to this before I showcase some smaller things.
Sorry, I'm being super quiet. I'm actually just replying. I'm sort of doing a quick calculation of the stats for the languages.
So Charlampos asks if TinyMCA 4 will be supported for long. So we don't see it going away. It doesn't really complexify the code source to have it. Summernote is a bit more complicated just because of translations. But TinyMCA will continue working, and if one day we'll see in 4 months if like 5 people have switched back to the old one, then at that point, yeah, it makes sense to just remove it if no one's using it, just to reduce the complexity of the app, to reduce the work for translators, and also because it will continue breaking more and more with browser updates, just because that's sadly how it works. That's why mentions don't work on Android browser, because the way Chrome on Android, which is just key events, they changed it a few years ago, and TinyMCA their system was never adapted for that. So, yeah. Let me see in the blog post, what did I say else to showcase? Oh, yes. While I was editing the entity notes, you might have noticed visibility. There's a new members option, and that's for if you want only the people in your campaign, to be able to see this entity note, or this relation, or this map marker. So that allows you to have stuff which is visible to all for a public campaign, and also allows you to limit information which is just for your members. For example, internal notes. So only the people in your campaign could see a specific element of your campaign. And related to that, if I go and edit this campaign in the permissions tab, there is now related elements visibility. So you can change which is the default visibility for new elements. So for an entity node, for an entity link, for a entity file, for relation, for a map marker, for a inventory. So all of them use this new feature where it defaults to all, and you can change it to avoid an extra click if you're always creating stuff only for admin or self. Self and admin will work a bit. That'll work. What else did I note? Campaign. Oh, yes. A thing which has come up a few times also in the past is for a way to allow some of your players to edit the campaign, to invite new members, to control the dashboard without making them admins of the campaign. So when you go and edit a role, you now have the option below all their normal permissions, a new campaign block where they can allow to manage. That would be to edit the whole campaign, control the dashboard, so they can change the dashboards, and also members. And members, what it does, it just allows people in that role to use the invite feature, where they can then create new links or new invite codes. But that doesn't give them the option to switch or remove users, to avoid people abusing that feature. What else? Which is exciting. Oh, I guess this is also the last thing I can showcase. We've added 2 new features, filters, has entity nodes, so you can filter on any entity which has entity nodes. So now show me these 3. And another filter has entity files. It's able to quickly find where you've uploaded an image or PDF to an entity. So those are 2 new options. And also filters, text filters can now have oh yes. So if I write the and this symbol, I don't know its name in English, and exclamation mark wise, I can search anything which has the but doesn't have wise. So you can kind of combine these filters. So now my 2 entities which had the title the wise are filtered out. So you can now combine, and you can put as many. You can do not the wise and not items. So it filters more and more.
Nice.
And
You've been hiding things from me, Jay.
Well, if you read my blog release notes.
Ouch.
Now, one last thing we've also done is for calendars. You can now customize the color. So I can now, instead of having a drop down with a few select options, I can now change this color to something else. The only thing is, the lighter the color, the more difficult it gets to read, because the text will stay white in all cases unless you start using boosted CSS. Well, I guess depending on the theme, it will look differently, which might be an issue. And that's always a potential problem when allowing custom colors for elements in Kanka. That's a request we got 2 years ago, and pulled it. Yeah, it's a nice little bonus. I think that's it for... Yeah, the other stuff isn't as sexy to showcase, so that can be a surprise for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, tomorrow, Tuesday, I think, is the idea.
Yeah.
Depending on how we get on. So yeah,
yeah.
If you're done, I'll move back to the webcam focus.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so
I'm
you
done.
get to see me again. Cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything we wanted to say, right?
Yeah, we've talked also longer than what we imagined. It's been an hour nearly.
I love how these things are always like, oh, we'll do like half an hour, 40 minutes, keep it nice and tight, and it's been an hour now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if there are any final questions, we'd be happy to field them now. And if not, then I think we can call it. But I've actually liked this. This has been more interactive. There've been a few more questions that have been asked during the stream, and I've been enjoying this.
Yeah, we've had, I think, at one point nearly 12 people watching, which is a record.
That's not bad. No, I don't think it's a record. I think our first live stream was the most popular. I think we hit like 17 people at some point.
Oh yeah, well, then they got tired of our voices and faces.
Yeah, pretty much. What can you do? What can you do? But yeah, unlimited questions. We're here all night. I have my tea.
Well, night. It's 2 in the afternoon here for me.
yeah, I'm not staying up all night. But yeah, okay, great. So I'm assuming there are no more questions. So thank you everyone for tuning in. As always, it's been a pleasure. We will, of course, still be around on Discord in about 3 minutes. So that's if you have any pressing questions, we'll be there as well. And otherwise, we will definitely see you in a month. And if we decide to do something sooner, then I guess we'll see you sooner.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you very much
for tuning in. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe. I know these are still difficult times for a lot of people, so stay safe. And we will see everyone soon.
Yep.
Great. Well, bye, guys.
Bye.